Hi everyone, I am Haley with Long and Lean Pilates. Today I'm bringing you a prenatal and great for postnatal too workout just to really feel good. This isn't the kind of Pilates exercises and workout that is going to make you feel like you're like trying to fit your pregnant body into a workout. We're going to do exercises that are going to feel really great for you, get your hips stretched out and strong, and get you ready to labor and hold your baby. So let's go ahead and get started right away. One of the things that I do want to tell you about though ahead of time is that this again should really feel good for you. So if you're feeling like a position isn't comfortable, if it's too much of a stretch, if you're straining too hard to get in the position, I want you to go ahead and use a bolster. So you can use a yoga bolster if you have one, a stack of blankets, a pillow from your house, anything to just sit on so that your hips are a little bit higher than your legs in the position. Don't do something that doesn't feel good for you. It's not worth it. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna start right away sitting down. I like to do these breathing exercises sitting on my knees with my hips back on my heels. If that doesn't feel great for you, you have options. You can sit on a stability ball, you can sit on a pillow or a bolster, like I said, sit in a cross-leg position. You could even do this standing if that's the best for you. So focusing on our breath and releasing our pelvic floor to start. You can close your eyes if you'd like, keep them open, whatever feels right for you. We're gonna take a nice big inhale and send your breath all the way down into your belly and see if you can send it all the way down below your pubic bone. And then on your exhale, I want you to continue to feel a release. And we'll take that again. So inhale, fill everything up, expand through the belly and through the pelvis, and then exhale and just continue to let everything go. We'll take two more like that. Inhale, fill everything up, and exhale, let everything release. One more, inhale, fill the belly, fill the pelvis, and then exhale and continue to soften and release the pelvis down. Now we're gonna switch it up a little bit. Go ahead and inhale, fill up the belly, fill up the pelvis. See if you can think about widening your pelvis. Now on your exhale, take your waist and narrow it. And then take that again. So we're inhaling and filling everything up, still finding that expansive breath, and then exhale and narrow the diameter of the waist. Hug your baby into your back. Take it again, inhale, and exhale, narrow. Good. Now focusing on the pelvic floor here. Inhale, widen. Now exhale, imagine your pelvic floor lifting up into your body, and I want you to lift it as high as you can. Hold that there. Now we're going to slowly release. Release is just as important as the strengthening, so see if you can slowly release that pelvic floor and let it go all the way. Let's do that again. Use your exhale to draw that pelvic floor in and up, going higher up into your body than you think you can, and then slow release. Slow release, slow release, slow release. Take that two more times. So these are even better to do than Kegels because you're getting both the strengthening, the control, and the release of your pelvic floor. All of those are important for supporting your pregnancy and your labor and recovering from it. Go ahead and release that. Let's do it one more time. Drawing the pelvic floor in and up. See if you can think about lifting that pelvic floor up into your belly button. And then slow release, slow release, slow release, slow release. Great. Switching to a cross-legged position again. If this isn't comfortable, please feel free to sit on a bolster or find a position that works for you. You can also do this seated on a stability ball if that's best for you. We're going to bring our hands behind the head here and work our thoracic mobility a little bit. Let your chin nod to your chest, let your upper back round over your ribs, and then lengthen back up, lifting the chest up to the sky as much as you can, trying to open the chest, open the elbows wide, take it again, release down. Lengthen up, lifting the chest, opening up to the sky, and then two more, releasing down. Lengthening and lifting up, open those elbows wide, feel stretch through the front of the shoulders. One more time, down. And lengthening up, up, up. Coming to a neutral position, feel some length through the crown of your head. So when you think about sitting taller, you're sitting up on your sits bones and lengthening up like your head's a helium balloon. So you're finding that length. We're going to do a little side bend. Inhale, up and over to the right, and then exhale back up to center, to the left. And up to center, and to the right, and center. Take the range of motion that feels right for you. You don't have to push it. This should feel good. This should feel mobilizing. Good, and to the left. Let's do one more each way. Feel like you're getting taller as you reach over, taller as you come up, and left. Good, now switching positions. Legs in front of you. Feet on the mat. Again, so sitting up on those sits bones, I want you to think about that throughout your life. The most good work you can do for your pelvic floor outside of exercise is trying not to sit tucked back like this throughout your day. So pay attention to that. Again, you can always sit on a pillow if it's hard for you to sit up onto those sits bones. It's going to be much better for your pelvic floor. So now, working through those ranges of motion, arms are out in front of you. We'll use an exhale to go ahead and take that tilt. Think about narrowing your sits bones towards each other, and then inhale and find the length out of it. And then again, exhaling, tucking, actively curling, and then inhaling, widening, lifting, lengthening through that back. We'll take a couple more. Finding some mobility in the pelvis, finding some movement, lengthening out of it. Again, take the range of motion that feels right for you. Small is totally fine here. Feel like you get a little bit taller. Now try to maintain that height. Stay tall and focus on just tilting the pelvis and not collapsing. And up. We'll take 2 more. And a little tilt. And up. And a little tilt. And up. Great. Again, so definitely grab a bolster if you are a little tight through your hamstrings here and it's hard for you to sit up in this position. Feet are going to be about hip distance apart. We'll go a little wider later, so try to find the most narrow position that fits on your body right now. Arms are out in front of you. Let's try to relax the shoulders. Think about staying nice and wide through the chest. Take an inhale and get nice and tall. Exhale, chin to the chest, round forward over your belly, and see how far you can stretch forward towards your toes, keeping those ankles flexed, energy through the heels. Lengthen all the way back up. You're getting tall, strengthening through the back. Take it again, chin to the chest. Round it forward, lengthen the body over those legs, stretch through the back of the legs, and then lengthen back up. Our goal here is to stretch through the back of the legs and the spine. So really reach for it. I want you to feel some freedom and movement in this workout. Form is important, but I also just want you to be able to move. Let your body go. Don't hold any tension in those shoulders. And up. Let's do 1 more like that. Reaching forward, pulling that torso over the legs, and lengthening back up. Now we'll find a wider position with those legs. A little bit wider than your mat. Again, do what's right for you. Find those sits bones, anchor into them. Find yourself right over the hips to start, and then we'll just put the hands down on the ground. From here, let's keep those ankles flexed. Walk forward, trying to now maintain the length of the spine, so a neutral spine. Walk forward, find a nice stretch through the hamstrings and the inner thighs, and then come back up. If you're not finding any stretch through your inner thighs, you can go a little bit wider. Go ahead and reach forward. Try to maintain the length of the spine. If you find that you can't do this without curling your back, grab a bolster. Pillow, towel, stack of blankets, whatever works. Rolled up mat would work. Let's do it 1 more time. Just lengthening all those muscles around the hips. And then coming back up. Having tightness in the muscles around the hips can inhibit your labor a little bit and make things more painful. So stretching is really good. As long as you're not pushing your range of motion, you want to be careful not to try to increase your range of motion while you're pregnant. Now we're going to take this little lunge movement series, 1 foot in front of the other. This is a really just freedom of movement exercise. I want you to just do whatever feels good for you. We're going to carefully put the hands down on the ground, and we're going to take big hip circles here. So we're going forward, out to the side, around to the back, other side, and in. And if you find that one position of that feels really good, you can hang out in it a little bit longer. Do what feels right. Don't worry about what your foot is doing. We're just circling around, finding some space in those hips. And then we'll reverse the direction of the circle. So go ahead and circle around. Don't worry about how it looks. This is just for you. Whatever feels good. We'll do 2 more circles this way, finding the space. You might find you're really tight on the outside and not on the inside, or vice versa. Pay attention to that, see what you need. And then we'll do the other side. So go ahead and switch. Again, take your time, no rush, and take your circles out to the side. Let those hips move around, let the thigh bones come with them. Just finding your space in that circle. You might find that one side feels completely different than the other. My left side feels so different. And just pay attention to that. Be kind to your body. You don't have to push anything. It doesn't have to look the same on each side. Reaching around. Find what feels good. 2 more. Breathing. 1 more. Okay, we've found all that space. Now let's do a little bit of work for the back of the hips, coming up onto your knees. Arms straight out in front of you. Feel your tail just heavy down to the ground. So we're not tucking, but we've got a little bit of a drop there. Ribs are as relaxed as possible. Obviously, we're opening up when we're pregnant, right? We're out here, but we're gonna try to find our version of neutral. Arms straight out in front of you, relaxed shoulders. Inhale to lean back, keeping the ribs and the hips in the same relationship, and then right back. Again, take the range of motion that feels right for you. This is a tough one. Leaning back, floating back up above those knees, and leaning back, and floating back up, and leaning back. Try not to overarch here. Stay in control here. A little bit of core work, a little bit of glute work. Back, and up. You've got 2 more. Back. Exhale, use your breath here. Don't hold your breath. Back and up. Good. Tuck those toes under. Doing a little baby squat here on our knees. Arms will go overhead, so we're getting that upper body mobility. Inhale down. Exhale, press forward and up. Inhale back. Exhale, forward and up. Staying in control here as much as possible. Good. And up. Nice. I'm not pregnant right now, but I was pregnant with twins, so trust me, I know how it feels. Inhale back. Exhale, up. We've got 4 more. Inhale. Push those hips forward over the knees. And back. Last 2. And forward. Reaching up with those arms. Feel the shoulders nice and easy. 1 more. And up. Great work. Let's come to hands and knees. Focusing on that core again. So your transverse abdominis is your deepest abdominal muscle. We're working that one. Taking a nice big inhale, think about letting your belly just release. So now everything relaxes, 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 and then exhale without moving your spine. Draw that belly back up into your spine. Take it again. Inhale, let the belly release. Body barely moves. Exhale, just drawing the belly up into the back. You'll barely see anything moving except your belly. Inhale. And then exhale and hug that baby up into your back. We've got 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, hug it in. Think about narrowing the waist a little bit too. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale, hug it all in. We're going to take that up a notch just a little bit. Toes tucked under. Make sure your shoulders are pressing down the back a little bit and you're pushing your hands actively into the mat so we get that upper body work going. Use your next exhale to hug that belly into the back and go ahead and just hover those knees for a moment. And then inhale and lower it right back down. Exhaling up. We don't want to hold too long. We don't want to feel too much strain. And coming back down. But we're just challenging your body a little bit. Exhaling up. And inhaling down. We've got 2 more. Exhaling up. Use your breath here. Inhaling down. And exhaling up. And inhaling right back down. If it feels good for you, you can go ahead and sit back into a child's pose off your wrists. Do what feels right. And then we'll do a little bit of work for the hips. So go ahead and find a position where you're laying on your side. If you are very far along in your pregnancy and this doesn't feel comfortable, you can go ahead and put that towel or blanket that you had under your belly and support it from the side if that's something that will feel good for you. So we're finding a position where our head is in line with our tail. Bottom hip presses down into the ground so we're not collapsing into the waist as much as possible. Knees are bent, heels are stacked, they'll stay stacked, and I just want you to slowly rotate the knee up and slowly release it back down. Slowly rotating up and slowly releasing back down. We'll take a few more like that, keeping the hips stacked. So we're not letting the pelvis, the top of the pelvis open as the leg moves. 2 more. Exhaling up, inhaling down, exhaling up. Inhaling down. I lied. You do 1 more. You're going to hold it and we'll do an extend out. Follow the line of the leg. Follow where the knee is. Just extend there. And extend. We're still finding that length through the waist. And bend. You should be feeling some work in the glutes here. It's good to get a little lift through that seat. And back. 2 more like this. 1 more, we're going to keep it there. Knee is slightly rotated up to the sky the whole time. You kick the leg forward, keep it on that same level, reach it back, keep your hips still, find your stability. Forward and back. Hand on the ground is okay here. Forward and back and forward and back. We'll do 3 more. 3 and 2. Last one, we hold it. 1 more thing for those glutes. You lift up. Up. Think about reaching out like your toes could touch the wall and up and up. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1, and you get to relax. Nice. Let's flip right on over to the other side. Finding your comfortable position, head lined up over the tail, bottom hip presses in, knees are bent in front of the hips, a little bit lower than the line of the hips, so again, hand on the ground is totally fine for stability. Slowly rotate that knee up and release it back down. Slowly rotating up and releasing it back down. And slowly up. Slow is good here. It gives you the opportunity to find control, and it actually gives you a bit of a stretch through the piriformis. 2 more. And last one. We hold it up there and find our extension. Reach out and come back in. Follow the line of the knee. Extend. Staying on that hip level, not going any higher. Oh, I feel this one more on this side. And reach. Couple more. And reach. Last one, reach. Keep that length, keep that level, kick forward. Reach it back. Try to keep your hips stable. Forward and back and forward and back. You've got a few more. Forward and back. Last 3. Feel nice length here. Try not to collapse through that upper body. 1 more. Reach. Find that length. Reach longer and lift. 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 You've got it. 3 more. 2, 1, and relax. Good. Okay. Coming up now, we'll do a little bit of a modified mermaid here, classical Pilates exercise with a modification. If you feel super strong and you want a challenge here, you can go ahead and extend your bottom leg too. I'm going to bend the bottom leg the whole time. You also have the option to go from your hand, which is what I'm going to show you, down to your elbow if you have any wrist issues. So we'll start with the knees stacked, ankles stacked. Grab your ankle, reach up and over, shoulders down away from the ears. And then reach back over, hand underneath the shoulder, top leg extends, press those hips forward and up and get a nice big reach through that side of the body. And then we're coming back down, taking the stretch up and over. And then lengthening, reaching up, finding that space. You've got some work in the shoulder, you've got some work in the hip, but it should feel nice. Nice big deep breath into the side of the body. And then up and over, reach. And let's take a few just lower and lifts here. Lower and lift and lower and lift. 2 more. You have the option to just hold it if this doesn't feel great. 1 more. And then we'll finish with the stretch we started with. Stack those knees, stack those ankles, reach up and over, lengthen. And flip those legs around. We'll do the other side. So you get to start and finish with the stretch. Grab those ankles, arm is out to the side. If this doesn't feel good, you could always separate the legs. Reaching up and over for your stretch portion. And then hand goes on, lengthen that bottom leg, reach up and over, find nice length through that whole left side of the body, and then come back. Trying not to hyperextend the elbow, which I am probably guilty of right now. Think about lifting up and out of your wrist, squeezing the tricep around the upper arm bone, and then lowering down. Again, reaching up and over. And we'll lower down. Keep that shoulder away from the ear. And up. So you're using your lats here. And up. 2 more. Down. And up. Last one. Down. And up. Lengthen, reach. Lower all the way down. Grab that ankle. Find your stretch. Great. We're going to come to hands and knees one more time here. And we'll start to do those pelvic tilts again. So really important to get that space in the pelvis, in the lower back. And we'll do that with some pelvic tilts again. So on an exhale, I want you to tilt the pelvis and think about your sits bones narrowing. Like you're squeezing your glutes a little bit, but try to think about doing it deeper. And then you'll open and think about those sits bones widening, 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 widening through the lower part of the pelvis. And then take it again, tuck and narrow. It's really nice to feel that on hands and knees. A little bit harder to feel that when you're seated. And then feel that width, like the bottom of your pelvis is widening, making space to deliver a baby. And then tighten that back up, narrow it, and widen. So good to release, just as important as the strength. Now let's go ahead and continue that into some mobility through the spine. Feel good stretching through the back. Let it round your whole spine, head and tail go down to the ground, and then reach it back up, opening the chest. Lifting through the front line of the body to the range that feels good for you. Try not to dump into your low back. Stay supported. Think about reaching up and out. 1 more. And reaching, like your head and your tail could reach longer away from each other to lift. Come back to a neutral position, and we'll get through that thoracic spine and side of the body again. So head and tail reach towards each other on one side of the body. You're wagging your tail to one side and then trying to see it, and then go the other way. Take a peek at your tail. Again, you might feel tighter on one side than the other. Your baby might be off to one side a little bit more than the other, so it may feel a little strange to move from one side to the other. Just be aware of it and be kind to it. One more each way, reaching, looking for your tail, and looking for your tail. One more little bit of squat prepping here on hands and knees. Toes are tucked under. We're going to rock forward, get a little bit of work in those shoulders, get some mobility through the wrists to the extent that it feels okay for you. And then we're going to widen that pelvis and sit back as far as you can. Take it again, rock forward, push some weight into your arms, and rock back, widen those sits bones, hips back. Take it again, forward, and back, and forward, and back. Flexing at those hips, you should feel a nice deep flex in those hip sockets to the extent that you can. And press it back, energy through the heels, last two. Press forward, and press back, and forward, and back. Great work. Okay, knees right underneath the hips, and then bring one foot out forward. We're going to do a little bit of lunging here. Again, do the range of motion that feels good for you. If you have to stay higher off the ground, that's fine. I want your goal to be to keep the knee as close to over the ankle as possible, not letting the knee go forward of the toes, so we're not working in the quads too much. We're going to try to get the work through the back of the leg. So I'm going to stay up and back, press up, and then we're bending just about halfway down, knee close to the ground, but you don't have to go all the way down this time. And then press, find the work through the back of the leg, back leg here, and press. Feeling that length, helium balloon as your head. 3 more, and 2, and 1. Lower with control, use your hands if you'd like. We'll switch sides. Foot is directly under the knee, toes are tucked back behind you. Abdominals have to work a little bit here. If you can, you're lifting up. You could always start from the high point if you need to. Extend that back leg. Whoa, find your balance. Bend down. Extend through the back leg. Bend. Extend. Bend. Extend. You've just got 3 more. 3. And 2. And 1. Okay. You can come all the way in if you need to come down and then stand up, do whatever you need to do. We're going to focus on the upper body a little bit here. I'm going to take you through some exercises. We're going to work the biceps. I'll talk to you about why as we're doing it. So elbows into the body, palms facing up. If you have small weights around your house and you want to add some resistance, you are welcome to. Gravity does the work for you though, so you don't need weights if you don't have them. Not a big deal. Just nice and slow, reach your fingertips forward and then pull them back in. Now I want you to kind of feel like you're making your own resistance. So you're pulling back in. So you're pulling against a resistance band. And pull. And reach. And pull. So we're going to continue with this series of arm work. And one of the big reasons that I like to do it is because our biceps need to be strong to hold our babies. Right? Everybody knows that in theory, but if you've had babies already or you've watched people carry around their babies, you'll notice that they do this, right? Keep going. And that is because the upper body is weak. We're going to change the exercise now, lowering the arms and lifting back up. You can just follow along. When the upper body isn't strong enough to hold the weight of the baby or logs or books or whatever it is you're carrying, the body shifts into what's poor alignment to take the weight off of the arms. And you see a lot of people walking around like that. I'm certainly guilty of it. I see my husband do it. I see my friends do it. And it's just not great for the back. It's not great for the body. So it's better to strengthen your arms and try to hold the weight of your baby with your arms and keep your hips back over your heels as much as possible. Let's do 2 more lower and lifts here. 1 more and then we'll hold it up and we're going to do small circles. Another reason I like to do a long series of arm work is so that you can start to feel a burn and feel the pain and breathe through it and get through it and know you can get through a contraction, right? I stole that idea from yoga. I did a prenatal yoga class. It was so awesome. And we used to do these things where you had to do it, and then you got through it and it was fine, right? And it's hard when it's in it and you notice that and it's okay and you breathe through it and then you get through it. Let's reverse our circle. So hopefully your arms are burning a little bit right now. We're going to notice it. It's okay if you can't ignore it. It's not necessarily about ignoring. It's about breathing. and finding some other things to enjoy in it. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Good, last circle, and then we're slowly opening out to the side and slowly closing back in. You got it. Slowly opening and slowly closing. Slowly open. We're gonna do a few more like that. Add a baby lift. Lift, open, lift, close, lift, open, lift, close. Good. Lift and open. You're almost there, and then we'll stretch. Close, lift, and open, lift, and close. One more. Lift, open, lift, close, slow lift up. Last little bit of work. Woo. And then we're going into a big circle. Lift the chest, open the arms out to the side, let your chin fall to your chest, and then do that again. Arms reach up, lengthen, lift, reach, all the way back down. One more time. Reaching up, lengthen, lift, all the way, and then just relax. Okay, we're actually gonna finish with a calf stretch and a little bit of squatting. Again, squatting is so good for your glutes, it's gonna be good for your pelvic floor, it's gonna be a great prep for birth positioning if you're interested in birthing in a squat. So the more you squat, the better when you're pregnant. I'm gonna show you a prop that we use for stretching our calves at my studio. This is a half dome, just a half of a roller. I like to use this for a calf stretch. If you don't have one of these, no big deal, just roll up your mat. I'm gonna go ahead and roll up my mat and show you this because we're gonna use the rolled up mat for our squats too. So we'll actually go ahead and do the squats first, because the reason we're doing this rolled up mat version of a squat is so that we can take the calf tightness out of the equation. Most people have shortened calves because we all walk around in heels, or we sit too much, or both. So that's another great thing you can do for yourself in pregnancy. Don't bother wearing heels. Not great for your pelvic floor. So feet are a little bit wider than the hips here, toes pointing forward, heels are on that rolled up portion of the mat. So you can see that your heels are a little bit elevated, which will allow you to go ahead and get into a deeper squat. And then press back up. Now, I don't want you to go so low that you feel a lot of strain coming up. I just want you to go to a position where you feel like you can float back up with a relative amount of ease, not too hard. We're squatting down, trying to keep those knees back towards the ankles, vertical shins, and right back up. We'll do a few more. And then coming back down with the arms. One more. And then if it's available to you right now, you can go ahead and try to find a deep squat and see if you can hang out there for a little bit. Do whatever position of the arms feels right for you. See if you can hang out there. You can always do this holding onto something too. And then coming all the way back up. Whew. And let's go ahead and do a calf stretch. So toes and ball of the foot go on either your half dome or this rolled up portion of the mat. Foot is nice and parallel. Other foot steps forward. So you're just in a stride position, letting the hips relax down, no tension in the quads, getting length through the back of the calf. Feel that stretch for about 30 to 60 seconds. You should do this all the time. Everybody needs this, whether or not you're pregnant. This is great to do at the beginning of the day, middle of the day, end of the day, all of it. Bending the knee. So now we're switching up the stretch. This one's going to help prep you for those squats without the mat. Bending the knees. And then relax, and we'll do the other side. So foot goes on. Other foot steps forward. You're in a stride position. Hips are back towards that back leg. Try not to shift everything forward. Finding length in that position and ease in that position. You don't want to feel like you're tensing everything up. If you do, I want you to step back a little bit. Knee should be all the way straight. And now we'll go ahead and switch up the stretch, and bend the knee. So I'm tighter on this side. My ankle wants to turn in. My heel wants to turn in to make that happen. Small is better than making little adjustments and kind of cheating your way out of it. So keep the foot parallel and find a little micro bend if that's all you have. And then we'll just relax from there. And then if you want to go find a place in your house, a door frame, a door handle, stair banister, anything you can hold on to, and see if you can find, without shortening the calves, a little deep squat and hold it and breathe into it. And that's a great thing for you to do every day. Just find a deep squat. Supported is great. Nobody's going to test you. It's not a performance in your labor if that's something that you